Lesson 6-6, Scale Drawings and Models. So scale drawings are pretty prominent in the building industry. When a builder is going to start on a new house, he has the blueprints that shows exactly all of the measurements and everything that needs to go into that house. And you realize it's on paper, so there's no way it could be the actual size. So it is drawn to scale. It is drawn to scale. And also, I don't know if you have, this is kind of becoming obsolete, but going on a family vacation used to involve taking a map and reading the map to figure out where to go. And on the bottom of the map, there would be this key that would say 1 inch equals so many miles. And you could figure out how far you had to go till you get to the next place you wanted to stop and things like that. So do you ever remember using a map? Are you two guys too young for that? You do? Okay. Yeah, we used to have maps and had to go just by that. There was no GPS, and so that part's actually kind of becoming obsolete. Definitely the blueprints and things like that for builders, that's probably not going to change. But maps, we're going to talk about it here because that's using a scale drawing. You have to be given a key of some sort, and that's what this is right here. On this particular map, it says that 1 inch is equivalent to 8 miles. So this is where you guys are going to have to do, just like we did that last problem yesterday, write the proportion and solve it. So by the key they give you, that tells you the two things you're comparing. So that means I'm going to put inches on top and miles on the bottom. Remember, that can go either way. You could have miles over inches or inches over miles. It doesn't really matter, just pick. And that way, anytime you write anything from this, you'll know inches are on top, miles are on bottom, or vice versa. Okay, so you will write a proportion. So fraction bar, equal sign, fraction bar. That's the way you start. You should put the key or the scale that they give you in the first ratio. So 1 inch equals 8 miles. You're going to put 1 over 8. Now it tells us there are two towns 3.25 inches apart. How far apart are the towns in reality? So 3.25 inches apart. So on that other side, am I going to put that on the top or the bottom? The top, because it's inches. So we're going to put 3.25, and then let's go ahead and put X on the bottom. That's okay. It can be any letter. So once you get all 4 spots filled in, you do that cross-cross thing. And I'm going to have to come over here. 1 times X, which is 1x, equals 8 times 3.25. And at this point, I would let you use a calculator. 1x really just means x, and 3.25 is 26, and we would label that miles. Make sure you don't forget to label these today. 26 miles. So those two towns are really 26 miles apart. Okay, questions with that? You go by whatever scale they give you. Make sure you kind of put a note out there that helps you. I think that helps a lot, so you know where you put everything. Fill in all the spots, and then cross, multiply, and divide. That one we didn't have to divide because the number in front of the X was just 1. All right, are there any questions? So we are going to get to now looking at a blueprint. And on this blueprint, it says 1/4 inch equals 2 feet. Notice how by 1/4 inch, we also have 0.25. So you could use either one. I would probably go with 0.25 since you're writing this fraction like, this proportion with fractions. So let's start with number 1, the living room. And in the living room, it tells us that it's got an actual length of 25 feet. So that means, since it gave us the actual length, we've got to find the drawing length. So the inches, basically. Since it's inches to feet, every one of these is going to be inches to feet. All right, is there anybody that wants to help me fill in the spots to this proportion? The first ratio would be the scale, and then the second one would be from the problem. So Trayton, what are we going to put on the top of what?
1.
Not 1. We're going to use this one right here. We're going to use this one. So 0.25 is the inches, and that matches what for the feet? 2 feet. And I think I almost made it too dark. Yeah, 2 feet. Okay, so now let's look at the living room. It gives us 25 feet in actual length. Where would I put that, the top or the bottom? Bottom. So what'll go on the top then? X sounds good. Any variable. Okay, once you get that written, then we're going to cross. So Trayton, what will that look like?
2x equals 25 times 0.25.
Okay, so 2x equals 0.25 times 25. So 2x equals 25 times 25 is 625, but there is 2 decimal places, 6.25. Okay, and then the last thing we have to divide by 2. So if I take 6.25 divided by 2, that should be 3.125, I believe. And Trayton, how would I label that? Inches. So on these, don't round, just leave whatever places there are. All right, questions about that one? Number 2, we're looking at the kitchen. And the kitchen on the drawing is 2.75 inches. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do inches to feet again. And you do fraction bar, equal sign fraction bar. I will tell you, when you're doing the first section on your homework, the beginning ratio is going to be the same on the whole group of them from that first section, because it'll be one set of blueprints that has the same scale. So the scale here, again, 0.25 and 2 feet. So you would write the same thing, 0.25 on top and 2 feet on the bottom. Okay, who wants to help do this one? Somebody that hasn't gotten a ticket yet. Okay, Trayton. If we have 2.75 inches from the drawing, where would I put that? The top or the bottom? Top, because that's where we're putting the inches, 2.75. And what goes on the bottom? X. Cross, cross. And what happens when I multiply, Trayton? Right. Okay, so 0.25x equals 2 times 2.75. At this point, you could use a calculator for 2 times 2.75. And I believe that is 5.5. And then Trayton, what's the last step?
Divide.
Divide by 0.25. And it would be I believe it's 22. Is that what you got? Did anybody do it? 22? 22, and how would I label that?
Feet.
Feet. So the kitchen is really 22 feet long. 22 feet. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Shoot. X equals 22 feet. All right. Questions about that? What I just did there is what the majority of your homework is going to be. It's going to be in a chart, and you're going to set up the same proportion or similar proportion. The first ratio is going to be the same in every one of them because it'll be from the same scale. And there you go. Okay. So let's see what we've got. Last but not least, I think it's going to ask you to do the scale factor. Okay, scale factor is, does anybody do model cars or model planes or anything like that anymore? Nobody does that? On the box of a model car or model plane, they would have the scale factor, like a ratio of 1 to 16 or 1 to something. That tells the measurement in that model car how it compares to the measurement of the real car. So the problem with this is if it says to change to a scale factor, you have got to make sure you've got the same units on the top and the bottom. Also, don't leave a fraction there. Okay, so I'm going to show you what to do with this. This is 1/2 inch to 3 feet. So you kind of start with a ratio like we've done in this chapter. 1/2 inch to 3 feet. Okay, they've got to be the same units. Which one should I change? Inches to feet or feet to inches?
Inches to feet.
Inches to feet. So how many feet do you think 1/2 inch is?
No, feet.
Yeah, you want to go with the biggest one, feet, and break it down into inches. So I'm going to say 1/2 inch. How many inches are in 3 feet?
36.
So 36 inches. And just like in the first lesson, when you get the units the same, you can mark them out. Now here's my last problem with this. I've got 1/2 over 36. Do not leave a fraction. What would I do to the top of that ratio to make 1/2 become a whole number? What could I do, Tori?
Change it to 0.5.
Nope, not change it to 0.5. Stephen?
You would times both of the top and bottom by 2.
Yeah, multiply them both by 2. Because 1/2 times 2 becomes 1 whole. And 36 times 2 becomes 72. So the scale factor of this model is 1 to 72. You can write it like that. You could write it like this. This is how it looks on a box usually. On a box of a model car, they'll have it written like that. Okay, so you could do either one. But please do not leave a fraction in that. Change it to the same units and then do not leave a fraction in that. All right, any questions?